Hello there.
This is where the fun begins.
Hey there guys, Unofficial Star Wars here. Hope you're all doing well, and in this video we have some exciting Mandoverse news for Star Wars and on Disney Plus here. We're going to go ahead and we're going to hop right on into it. Firstly, to start out, I haven't had a chance really all that much here on the channel itself. I kind of glossed over it, and I don't even think I really talked about it here on the channel, but the new Mandalorian Season 3 poster itself just downright looks incredibly fantastic, and I also want to firmly state that that is a fact, not an opinion. This poster is phenomenal looking, and it is a must-have for poster collectors, especially for us Star Wars fans that like to have posters on the wall. It's something that's nice, it's simple, but yet it's so just different and unique compared to like every other movie or TV show poster that you might see in the modern film and television industry nowadays, which is really just a bunch of floating heads. Well, as for what the common belief is really anyway. Aside from that, an incredible looking poster. I just wanted to quickly share my own thoughts and opinions on that real quick. Secondly, into the regards of the Mando, Season 3 directors are officially announced here for the upcoming third season of The Mandalorian. It would appear that we have both returning and new directors here from that have previously directed in Star Wars on Mandoverse projects, whether it's the Book of Boba, Ahsoka, or previous seasons of The Mandalorian. We have Lee Isaac Chung. We also have Rick Famuyiwa. I'm sorry if I mispronounced that last name. I tried my best on that, but he's a returning director here for the third season of The Mandalorian, has previously directed some amazing episodes, of course, of the show. Bryce Dallas Howard is a returning director here for the third season. Rachel Morrison, Peter Ramsey, and Carl Weathers, of course, being Grief Karga, being both in front and behind the camera, which is really cool. Strangely enough, however, I don't see Dave Filoni and I don't see Jon Favreau anywhere here on this list. It had me worried for a split second, but yes, of course, they worked on this. It's their project. They're the ones that came up with this whole ideal. They probably are like higher ups, essentially. Of course, still considerably directors, and there's probably a handful of episodes that were directed by them. It's really probably just a given thing that they worked on a couple of the episodes anyway as directors here, both of them, of course. Not to mention that they are the ones that are writing, of course, everything that we're seeing with the Mandoverse, whether it's the Mandalorian or if it's a different show like Skeleton Crew, or if it's Boba Fett, Ahsoka, whatever the case may be. There you guys have all the directors, of course, here for the third season of The Mandalorian. As I had mentioned, both returning and new faces, new names, essentially. I'm very curious to see what some of these people are going to bring here to the table. Some of them are very, very talented, like Carl Weathers, Bryce Dallas Howard. Like, boom, you instantly know that those episodes are going to be absolutely peak, and I think that a lot of these other directors are going to be very talented doing the same here going forward. And lastly here, I want to talk about the Ahsoka show, a part of the Mandoverse here. We recently got some news here about a director, of course, that is going to be joining the Ahsoka show, aside from Dave Filoni himself, which is very interesting, seeing that he's trusting it and entrusting it here essentially into somebody else's hands. It's his character. He's very precious over it and everything like that. Specifically for this news update here, I want to take a read from the Direct's article. I'll have it linked in the description down below for you guys to check out there as well. And also into the regards real quick of everything else that we just talked about with the new Mando poster, of course, and these new Mandalorian directors for Season 3. These are all officially put out on social medias by Star Wars, the official accounts and everything like that. So you guys can see those over there as well. Now, as the Direct's article reads here, according to a director's Instagram bio, a familiar filmmaker has jumped aboard Lucasfilm's upcoming series Star Wars Ahsoka on Disney Plus, that there of course is going to be streaming this year. The Rosario Dawson-led show will be the first time that Jedi Ahsoka Tano is the focus of her own solo project. I mean, finally, and especially in live action, it's bound to be amazing. While she first appeared in the 2008 animation Clone Wars movie, and then later went on to be, of course, seen here in the overall Clone Wars show, appearing in the Star Wars Rebels animated show there as well, she finally made the live action jump there in The Mandalorian's second season recently in 2020. But now the former Jedi is ready to take the spotlight herself, finally. Ahsoka, the show, which is set to premiere at some point this year on Disney Plus, will see Rosario Dawson return in the storyline that will also include some familiar faces from the Star Wars animated show Star Wars Rebels. This includes the return of Sabine Wren, Harrison Dula, Ezra Bridger, Chopper, Zeb, Thrawn, and even more. And now recently, another recognizable face revealed her involvement with the highly anticipated show. According to the director Steph Green's Instagram bio, So the filmmaker joined the ranks of Ahsoka, the show, helming an unknown episode as a director. As her Instagram bio reads, Emmy and Oscar nominated filmmaker, Watchmen, Ahsoka, New Boy, as all projects that she's recently worked on. Steph Green recently helmed the Book of Boba Fett's second chapter, episode 2, The Tribes of Tatooine, as a director for that overall episode, which, if you don't remember, was amazing. The entire show really was overall amazing, despite your opinions on it. My opinion is that the Book of Boba Fett was amazing, and they need a second season. Anyway, as the article continues to read, according to the director's IMDb listing over on that website, she also has been involved in The Watchmen, The Man in the High Castle, Luke Cage, Preacher, New Boy, and more. So all very notable projects that are very well, whether it's a show or a movie. This here all being said, will Steph Green have the magic touch it takes for the Ahsoka show? While much of the Book of Boba Fett isn't re-owned by the fans, at least the episode Green helmed, The Tribes of Tatooine, is really fairly solid, as I had mentioned. It's certainly not the face plant in quality that some of the other installments are of that overall show, but it is still really great. It's also great that going into Ahsoka, she'll have had experience in both the bigger projects and within the Star Wars franchise as a whole overall, whether it's related to Star Wars or if it's not. Something like Marvel's Netflix's Luke Cage, which is still very big, but outside of the Star Wars world and kind of universe, but also while at the same time having been into the Star Wars franchise previously before. The pressure this time around, however, might be a bit higher, a lot higher, both from the fans and from Dave Filoni. Given the critical reception of Boba Fett's solo outings, fans are on edge and expectations are very high. However, I must be here to remind you guys that she's not the one that's necessarily writing this episode. That's up to everything that has to go with on Dave Filoni and Jon Favreau, but more so Dave Filoni. That's not even necessarily factoring in on how important the series, based on previous rumors and speculations and theories, seems to be as to Star Wars as a whole. And of course, as we've already previously discussed here on the channel, according to the whispers and the rumors, not only will it continue the story of Star Wars Rebels essentially as a live-action sequel to that animated show, but it would also introduce Thrawn as a big threat to the galaxy, and also into live action, but into the entirety of the Mandoverse, what the rest of our heroes and villains alike might be going up against as a big bad, the equivalent to Kang in the MCU, or the equivalent to really Thanos in the MCU. However, fingers crossed that Green is more than up for the challenge, and what she's able to pull off is going to be, well, hopefully more than worth the wait. So from there, that is where that article concludes, and as I had mentioned at the beginning of this video, I have this article linked in the description down below for you guys to check out there as well. Of course, I would love to hear what you guys all think about all of these Mandoverse, exciting Mandalorian, Ahsoka, Boba Fett news here in the comment section down below. I would love to hear what you guys all think. What are you looking forward to seeing here most with all of these different projects here, a part of the Mandoverse here, and also with the Mandalorian Season 3 specifically, as that's going to be the next big and just the next Star Wars project here. Of course, that's going to be coming to Disney+. Now, in this video, we talked about a variety of things here as an overall recap. We talked about the new Mandalorian Season 3 poster, which I really haven't had that much of a chance to talk about up until now. Of course, I love it. I think everybody loves it. We talked about the new Mandalorian Season 3 directors as they were officially announced and put out there as well. We're really beginning to see marketing and promoting here for the Mandalorian Season 3 really begin to ramp up and really start to get big here. I mean, I feel like we're seeing something new every day, every other day officially coming out from Star Wars. It can honestly be a lot to keep up with, but that's why I'm here. We're here to talk about it and keep you guys up to date here with all the different Star Wars news, whether it's news, leaks, rumors, theories, speculations, or even breakdowns videos. We have it all here on the channel, so if you guys are into any of that, hit the subscribe button and join us here today. I would love to hear you guys will think about all this in the comment section down below. And lastly, of course, we recently just talked about the Ahsoka new director here. Outside of having just Dave Filoni working on this project, having another director is odd, but interesting, and it's cool to see that Dave Filoni has faith in this upcoming director, Steph Green here. So seeing more projects from her in the future from Star Wars, I think would be great.